Hi guys, welcome to Raina's universe. I am a New York City high school senior, so I'm here to talk about schools closing and kind of show you what the experience is like, or kind of talk about what the experience is like. So in this video, you're going to see like a day in the life of online learning. I also interviewed some of my teachers and some of my classmates to get their perspectives, so that'll be later in this video. But first, I'm going to give you guys a little information. Sunday, March 15th, 2020. They announced that all schools in New York would be closed until we were supposed to come back from spring break, which was Monday, April 20th. And now it's April 7th, and they've extended that to Wednesday, April 29th. We were supposed to have spring break starting this Thursday, April 9th. You know, this Friday is Good Friday. Passover starts this week. We were supposed to also have the week of the 13th off. But the governor and mayor canceled that break. They said we have to continue with online learning, which honestly, I don't really mind because, you know, I'm kind of bored. I really like having that structure, having something to do every day. I would not know what to do with myself if it wasn't for school right now. They did that because they wanted to keep kids busy so that people would continue with the social distancing, which I support. I support this whole social distancing thing. But also I think it should be called physical distancing because we should be very socially connected but physically distanced. Yeah, so a lot has changed since schools closed, like I said, with the cancellation of the break and the extension of the closure. That's just because things are changing every single day. So the week of the 16th was the first week where we had no school. Online learning in New York City officially began the following Monday, the 23rd. Actually, the first week, the week of the 16th, teachers still had to report to school because they had to kind of, you know, have meetings and learn about how online learning was going to work. I did have a few assignments and a few classes that first week, but I wasn't getting them from every single teacher. So by the way, New York City, largest school system in the whole country. We have over 1 million kids, and they actually closed schools really, really late. One of the concerns they had was all the low-income kids and all the homeless kids, because they rely on school for a lot of basic needs, and parents rely on school for childcare as well. When they closed schools, we had about 2,000 cases here. So with that information, here is a day in the life. So I vlogged this morning, but my voice sounded really weird because I had just woken up. So I'm just gonna like re-say now what I said this morning. I try to wake up by 9 every day. I did a really good job doing that last week, but it's gotten more difficult for some reason in the last 2 days. I think it's good to have a consistent schedule, and routine makes you feel more normal, sort of. So it's Tuesday, April 7th, 4th week of online school. My first class is at 10, and it's stats. Between 9 and 10, I try to get some work done. You know, school normally would start at 8:20, so 9 is already late. The first thing I do is I go into Google Classroom. And so some teachers do live video classes, so I have to be there at a certain time. But others will just post an assignment on Google Classroom for that day. So for the classes that aren't live, I look at what the teacher wants us to do for that day, and I write them all down on a post-it. Okay, so my voice is still kind of weird in this video, but I'm going to switch to the video I actually shot this morning. Okay, so it's almost 10, so for stats, I have to print out a worksheet. Join with video, always. Obviously for like some privacy reasons, I can't like show you guys everything. So right now I'm taking notes. You can watch me take notes. So stats just ended. Stats is every day except Friday. We get homework about every other day. The live classes last at most like 50 minutes. They're usually for stats between 40 and 50 minutes. So I have calculus on Monday and Wednesdays at noon, and then on Tuesdays and Fridays I have English at noon. So usually between stats and my noon class, I have a little bit of time to start doing homework, or other classwork, I mean. So right now I'm gonna do my calculus homework. So right now it's after 11, and by now, like, I haven't yet eaten. I'm on this weird eating schedule lately. I really only eat one substantial meal right now, which is dinner. It's funny, I'm just not as hungry, because I guess I'm not really doing as much. Usually my breakfast is a drink, like chocolate milk or orange juice, or sometimes nothing. How many bottles of this have I drank in quarantine? Probably like, oh, at least 10. By the time my 12 o'clock class is over, I start looking for food, but it's usually just like not very much. Like today, I'm gonna have some broccoli. You might be wondering, how do we turn in homework? Finished my calculus, take a picture of it. So yeah, you just like, you know, select a photo from your camera roll and you upload it. You turn it in. There you go. I have about half an hour left, so it's time to get up and get moving. So around now, I'll kind of like try to be physical. I'm not like working out, but I try to like walk around, like jump around. It's about 15 minutes until noon. So I either do more work or I watch our governor, Andrew Cuomo, speak. I usually don't catch him live. Sometimes I do, depends on when he does his briefing. It's no longer live, I'm watching it after the fact, but I do like to watch it every day. It is time for English class. My hair is getting so long. I really like need a haircut. Hey, should I do a video where I try to cut my hair? I've never cut my hair before. I think I'd definitely mess it up. Or should we like, you know, let it grow out? I'd say it is pretty long. It is 1 o'clock. I haven't eaten. All I've had is some chocolate milk. So we're gonna go eat. For lunch, I kind of just eat random things. Today we put broccoli in the oven with garlic and Parmesan cheese. It's very good. So since I saw you last, I edited. I did some more work. So I'll just give you more information about what each class looks like online. So you guys saw stats. For calculus, we have a worksheet for homework every day. And then when we have classes, we kind of do questions together, ask questions. For chemistry, every single day we have an assignment. So sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a reading, and then we have to answer questions or take notes or fill out a worksheet. For economics and psychology, I have the same teacher. Sometimes it's just answering some questions based on some notes. Sometimes she'll record a video of her teaching and we'll take notes or answer questions based on that. Sometimes we do have live classes and we have some discussions. For English, we're given like a PowerPoint presentation for each day, and in that presentation sometimes there's content if need be, but most of the time it just tells us what we need to do for that day. Like for today, we had to read a short story and answer some questions. Since I've been doing these Corona vlogs, you've probably noticed I'm very long-winded, talk a lot. So here we go with more talking. So I want to talk about how exams have changed. So AP exams this year are online for 45 minutes and they're open book, which is crazy because normally they're like 3 hours long at least. They're in the classroom, really strictly proctored, and now they're short, they're online, and they're open book. Yesterday they canceled Regents exams. Those are New York State exams, and they are also required for graduation. So I'm assuming that they're going to change graduation requirements as well. I do have to say I'm really grateful for my teachers. They've been really accommodating, and they've made it really clear what they want from us every single day. So it's really nice. So thank you guys for that. And speaking of teachers, let's hear what the teachers have to say about all this. So I asked my teachers a few questions. Thank you guys so much for answering these. I know how busy my teachers are, so it really means a lot that they took the time to answer these questions. Some of these are going to be quotes, some of these are going to be paraphrases because some of the answers were really similar. First I asked, right after schools were canceled, what were you instructed to do? We were instructed to go into the building for 3 days. This is citywide, but I did not. I stayed home, but I had to use sick days for these days, but being that there was a confirmed case in our school, I definitely did not want to be in the building. Another said, after schools were canceled, we were instructed to wait for further instruction. There was a week where we were hearing new things every day. Teachers were waiting to hear from admin was waiting to hear from the superintendent, chancellor, etc. The priority once school was canceled was to work on streamlining as a school as much as possible, which meant getting every teacher on Google Classroom and modifying the curriculum to be digitally based and online capable. A lot of the first few days were just about trying to make adjustments. And then I asked what made you decide to structure your online classes the way you've structured them, and like were you given any guidelines, that kind of thing. Let's see. I wanted to keep my classes as routine and as similar to the way we had done them at school as possible. It's best for our mental health because there's less adjustment. The Department of Education, DOE, does not allow synchronous learning, which means they're not allowed to host mandatory video lessons. The reason for this is because some students may not have the necessary technology or internet connection. While I understand why this mandate is put into place, I think many DOE decisions are made with those who don't have access in mind. I feel that it would be better to make decisions with the majority in mind and make exceptions for the ones who don't have the tools they need. Also, if schools were closed earlier or plans to close them had started earlier, laptops could have been distributed to students who needed them earlier. Similarly, another teacher said we were told to anticipate that some students were not going to be able to have technology or access to consistent internet, and that we should try to prepare for that. So I attempted to make my online classes as accessible as possible, which meant creating the slides with voiceover and making myself very available to students during office hours. We were given some guidelines, but the guidelines shift as we learn more about how students are doing and how long we're going to be doing virtual learning. Another one said, the way my classes have been structured is based on best practices concerning online courses. This includes providing recordings of meetings and instructional material to show and model learning activities, meeting in person as a class when possible, and offering plenty of time for Q&A through office hours and or individual appointments. Having assignments as well as lessons recorded and accessible at any time has been a guide for many teachers from the beginning of our online teaching and learning. Then I asked, what has been most difficult about this whole online learning thing? One teacher said grading, because they haven't been given clear guidelines yet as to how grading is going to work. But even once I do find out what I can grade and what the grading categories will be, I don't quite know yet how I should adjust grading for remote learning. I don't want all grading to be based on completion, because students can then just pass anything in and not learn from it. But I also don't want to grade too harshly when they're trying their best. Another difficult thing was emails from parents and students. I now receive emails at all hours of the day from parents and students, and it is harder to have a work-life balance because I work where I live. Another difficulty is emails from the administration and the Department of Education, because there's so many emails and there's so much conflicting information that it's difficult. Another difficulty. My favorite part about teaching is being able to be in the class with my students. I think it's the most rewarding part. So for me, I feel like virtual teaching is more work with fewer rewards. It's also just really hard to ensure that all of my students are getting what they need and are able to do the work. A lot of my day is taken up with reaching out to individual students to make sure they understand what they have to do. It's a lot easier when everyone is in the same place. Another difficulty was the reduction of interactions and connections we normally get to have in a classroom every day. One of the highlights of being in school each day is the ability to have in-depth conversations as a class. It's still possible to have these conversations online, but it takes time to make sure everyone is comfortable with the medium and can contribute at a similar pace. And then I asked, have people made it clear of what they want from you as a teacher, what they expect from you, and has it been easy enough to transition to online learning? Transitions that are this big and that happen this quickly can be difficult to implement with ease. I feel that everyone has done and is continuing to do what we can to clarify expectations, make suggestions, and adjust our work in order to help ensure student success while we are online. Another said, no, I feel like what I've been told to do only consists of limitations. I basically got no instructions, then created a learning system, and then was told you can't do this or this or this, and then I adjust, and then I'm told, but you can't do this or this or this. You're only told what you can't do and are left guessing about what you can do. So it's unfortunate, but it's the reality when working for a large government body, I guess. And then another one said, I think our administrators have been as clear as they can be. Everything changes every day, but that's because we're adapting to the ever-changing and developing circumstances. What it seems like is we're such a big school system that it's really difficult to make it really clear and have it the same throughout the city. Also, things are constantly changing, which makes it even more difficult because there are new guidelines coming in every day. Like, for example, they just banned Zoom really recently. And then I asked, are you spending more time working now than you were before online school? So one of them said, for me, no, I don't think so. One said that they're spending less time doing the work that they do in class, but a lot more time planning. I try to get everything done more in advance than I did before so that students can go at their own pace. I also have to add a lot more instruction to everything I do so that it is clear without me in the room to answer questions. So it's a lot of prep work and time. It's definitely evident in all the assignments I'm getting. They're making it really, really clear, and they have to explain everything, anticipate our questions, and it's crazy. Like, it's probably so much work. All teachers out there, thank you guys so much. Teachers always deserve all the thank yous, but right now they're working so hard. You know, a lot of students are feeling very unmotivated and really tired, and they don't feel like doing the work. Everyone's dealing with things right now in terms of like stresses having to do with like the whole situation. Teachers still have to teach. Imagine if teachers just said like, I don't feel like teaching today. Like, you know, a ton of students rely on them, even parents rely on them to keep the kids engaged. The fact that they're continuing to work so hard, continuing to educate us, it's awesome. It's a beautiful thing. I'll end with a little bit of student perspective here. It's much more difficult to stay motivated, especially the Regents classes now that the exams are canceled. I'm sure a ton of us feel like, what's the point if I don't have to take the test? So I think a lot of the learning is very voluntary right now for those classes. So I was originally gonna have a part of this video be student perspectives, especially from high school seniors, but I think I'm going to save that for another video because this video is a little long. So let me know if you have any questions relating to that. So it's funny, the first couple of weeks of online learning, it was kind of fun because it was this like novel experience. And it was very exciting, you know? We got to see our teachers' dogs. I think by now we're a little jaded. It's not as exciting anymore. In general, I think the motivation has gone down, you know? To do our schoolwork, we have to be at our screens for hours and hours every single day, and that can get really tiring. These vlogs are really revealing to you guys how long-winded I am, so I'm gonna stop here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, I might do another one if things change, and I will see you guys in the next one.